Boys and girls, today you're going to need paper towels. You're going to need your water cup, and this time we're going to be using a detail brush. You're going to notice that a detail brush is a much thinner brush than the type of brush that we were using before. It's a smaller tip, and usually it has a smaller number on the handle to show you that it is a smaller brush. This one's actually number 1 brush. And you're going to use your set of watercolor pencil paints. If you find that your watercolors are dirty, and if we look at this green, it's really dirty, one of the ways you can clean it is you just take your paint brush, get clean water on it, and mop up the color. And you could take the corner of a paper towel and you could then clean it out. And that's how you can get a dirty paint to become back to its clean color. Okay. Now, we're going to be painting the bridge today, and as you see, I already painted in my bridge on here. But because this is a painting, you want to cover up any pencil lines. Claude Monet is an Impressionist painter, and Impressionist painters do not really use black in their paintings. So you can use any color in the palette that you have of your paints. However, you cannot use black. You want to use your brush. You want to tickle the paint. And because we already painted the sky, white is a color or a paint that you can use because we will be able to see white over the blue. When you paint with a detail brush like this, you don't want to float your hand. You want to actually take your hand and you want to lean it on the painting so that your hand is steady. And we're going to cover up all of the pencil lines, going over them now with paint because this is a painting. So you're going to carefully paint over all the pencil lines to recreate your bridge in any color you want, because Claude Monet shows the bridges painted in different colors because he did multiples of this painting. He painted them in the summer, in the winter, in the fall, in the rain, in the fog, in the sunny days. So doing the paintings in different types of weather and different climates shows it with different color. Go ahead and paint your bridge with any color but black. Okay, so we've painted our sky with a wet on wet. You've painted your water with wet on wet, and you added salt, which we should have brushed off by now, into the garbage. You went over your bridge, painting that with a nice detail brush. Well, now we're going to paint the land bumps. And to paint the land bumps, we're going to use a technique called dry on dry. Sounds a little crazy. You're going to take your brush and you're first going to activate one of your greens. Any green that you want to use. And you're going to dip your brush on the paper towel. Remember, I told you for supplies today you need a paper towel because you want your brush to be pretty dry. And as you load it with paint, you'll notice that your brush starts to get like wacky hair. And when that happens, you're able to get lots of brush lines at the same time each time you drag your brush across the paper. When you drag it across the paper, you want to be sure that you're dragging it in the direction that the grass would grow. We wouldn't go across because grass doesn't grow across the land. Grass grows up. So we want to drag our brushes up. And do yourself a favor, mix it up. Use a little bit of light green, use a little bit of dark green. You can even sneak a little bit of brown in there, a little bit of yellow in there, and other green and yellow colors. Okay? A little blue would work because blue and yellow make green. So if you drag in a little bit of blue, you'll get greenish colors in there. So again, I'm dipping it in water, activating my paint, dabbing my brush on a paper towel, and then dragging it across the painting. And nobody mows the lawn in Grimvany, so it's okay if our grass gets a little bit high. So you're going to do your land bumps of grass on both sides. Come back when you're done. So let's pretend that I finished this land bump on this side. I'm going to show you a couple of ways to finish your project. Number one of the things that this painting is famous for is the bridge and the water lilies that he has in the pond. So you are going to paint water lilies. First thing you're going to do is you're going to paint the lily pad, and a lily pad is the shape of a heart, and they're green. Yep. So you load your paintbrush with some green paint, and you're going to paint kind of like a heart shape on your water. Okay? So I'm going to, yep, I'm going to color it in.
Oh, that's really good.
Okay? I would like you to put 3 or more lily pads in your water. Okay? So you could do 5, 6, 7, 8, but if you only did 2, is that enough?
No.
No. 2 is not enough. You need to do 3 or more. Okay? He actually did quite a few, but you only have to do 3. Let those lily pads dry. Then I want you to draw 1 tree. You can do more than 1 tree, but I want you to do 1 tree. Shh. So on my land bump, I am going to paint 1 tree. And I don't want to see any lollipop trees. Your trees need to have branches. I'm going to show you a way to put leaves on them. A really tricky, fast way. But first you have to get the tree painted, okay? You have to do the tree trunk. That's this part, the trunk. And these are the branches. And if you look, my branches are kind of like letter Y's. See how it's like a letter Y? It's just a lot of letter Y's. Okay? So I'm going to paint my branches. Now, here is the trick on how to paint all of those leaves super fast. Get my brush wet, activate the color of leaves I want. Now think about it. We just had fall, so you could make leaves that are yellow or orange or brown. I'm going with green leaves on mine because mine's going to be a summer picture. So I'm going to activate my green paint, get it wet. I'm going to take my paintbrush, I'm going to dry it on my paper towel. I'm going to load it up with paint. And see how my paintbrush is kind of a wacky tip because it's nice and dry? I'm going to do this. This is called stippling. It's when you bounce your brush over the area and it makes the brush mark. So again, I dip it, activate the paint, dry my brush on a paper towel, go back into the paint, and then I stipple it. That's dabbing it all around on the tree to make the leaves. It's a really quick way to make it look like I spent a lot of time on these details. And again, just like the grass, they don't all have to be the same color green. You could use a light green or a dark green or a blue green or a yellow or an orange also in your leaves. And you just dab your brush and see how realistic it looks. Like I really sat here and I painted all of these leaves, and it's super fast. Now, after you've finished your tree, you're going to go back to your lily pads because now these are dry. Okay, see, they're dry. So, lily pads can be one of 3 colors. A lily pad could be yellow, it could be pink, or it could be white. I'm going to go with yellow. Okay? So I take my brush, I get some yellow on it, and my brush is not clean. I already see that, so I'm going to wipe it off. I'm going to dry it and try again. Now I've got some nice yellow. Now to make my yellow lily pads, the lilies, flowers, they just go little up points like this. They just go up like this.
Looks like they're underwater.
Yeah, no, they're not. They're on top. Probably because I picked yellow. They might look more, let's see. I'm going to take this other one. I'm going to take some red. And I'm going to put it over here because I want to use pink. So on the lid, I'm going to take some red, put it over here on the lid because we have no pink in our set, right? So what makes pink? Red and
White.
white. So now I'll take some white paint and I'll mix it on the lid, and now I've got some pink. And so then I will take pink and I will paint this lily pad with pink. See how different it looks because pink is so different than the water? Okay? So after you have done your lily pads and you've painted one tree, you can decide whatever else you want to do to finish the picture. More lily pads, more trees, what other things? Would you like to add some flowers growing under the tree? Maybe you've got some little flowers growing over here. Or dandelions, daffodils. You decide how you want to finish it.